Do you remember 2011? 2011 was the ultimate year of the military shooter. I remember the marketing campaigns for both Battlefield 3 and Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. It was the stuff of legend. World War 3, as was the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 moniker for its marketing campaign, along with Battlefield 3, which was promising epic destruction and legendary vehicle battles amidst infantry combat. I remember playing the Battlefield 3 beta on my Xbox 360 back in the day in 2011. I remember loading into Operation Metro and thinking that video game graphics had clearly peaked. I was amazed by the grass and the water reflections, and I didn't think it would be possible to top an experience like this. The first time an RPG round whistled past my head, I remember physically ducking in my basement because the game was so immersive. It's been a long time since 2011, and we are long removed from the days of the intense military simulation shooter. Fortnite now dominates the gaming landscape, and games have become microtransaction-ridden hellscapes. And even games with excellent core gameplay like the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 reboot aren't safe from the Fortnite-ification of everything, where you now have Nicki Minaj running alongside battle-hardened Spetsnaz operators. This is why the Battlefield 6 beta has been so refreshing. Finally, a military shooter that is acting like a military shooter and is trying to take itself seriously. It's clear that DICE has seen this opening in the market and is trying to capitalize on the failing of its competitor like Call of Duty, which is now trying to turn itself into Fortnite with Beavis and Butthead and Nicki Minaj cameos. Battlefield has been in a rough state for the past several years. 2042 was a laughingstock and symbolized everything wrong with modern gaming. A hype marketing campaign that was exciting, and then that positive perception completely collapsed as soon as everyone realized that it was a broken, buggy mess. It had also gone out of its way to completely change the Battlefield formula, which was something that no one asked for. So it became a game for no one. It wasn't COD enough for COD fans, it wasn't Fortnite enough for Fortnite fans, and it was a complete disgrace for Battlefield fans. So what of the Battlefield 6 beta? Well, if this beta is any indication of the full release, I say that DICE may just have a hit on their hands. It may be enough to draw away a significant portion of COD's audience, especially the older fans. Now, that being said, we need to proceed with caution. This is EA after all. So I'm going to share my thoughts on the beta, the things that I liked, the things I didn't like, and what I think we should do going forward. To start off with, the gunplay in the Battlefield 6 beta has been incredibly smooth, and all of the weapons feel great to play with. After the incredible success of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019, it was very clear that shooters needed to step up their game when it came to animations and weapon design, and Battlefield 6 is clearly a product of this. The weapon animations feel smooth and realistic, and the guns feel like actual weapons. They even pay attention to very good details such as incomplete reloads. For example, if you insert the mag into the weapon but then you haven't charged the bolt yet, your character will do that after you finish another animation, such as ducking, sliding, going prone, etc., etc. I don't think it quite gets to the levels of the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 reboot levels of gunplay in both feel and in customization, but they definitely feel great. Most importantly, they have two excellent AK variants in the beta. If you stick around this channel, you'll find out that I am very, very biased in favor of AKs. And in this beta, we have the Galil Ace from Israel and the AK-205 out of Russia. The AK-205 in particular stands out, and it absolutely shreds the opposition, which is exactly what I like to see out of a 5.45 AK in a game. Now, I must point out, possibly the greatest failure of the Battlefield 6 beta is the fact that you can only use one sidearm, and that is a SIG P320. This is absolutely criminal on DICE's part. And to add insult to injury, not only can you only equip the SIG P320, but on certain character models within the game, you will see a Glock strapped to the plate carrier of some of your characters, and yet you can't access that, and you can only use a SIG P320. For those of you in my audience who are not aware, the SIG P320 is the current military issue sidearm by the US military, and is mired in controversy for it going off in people's holsters without the trigger being pulled. Now, legally, I'm not going to say that, oh, it's SIG's fault, this is absolutely happening, and they're covering it up. All I'm going to say is that there's some controversy, and this might be happening. Although friends don't let friends shoot SIG. Buy a Glock, kids. Buy a Glock. Aside from this issue though, all of the other weapons in the game feel great, whether it's the saw, the M4, or the sniper rifle on hand. They all feel very weighty, and they feel like real weapons, and they all are great to use in the game. All of these weapons, though, hinge off of the class system, which is absolutely essential to a good Battlefield experience. This is the one thing that Battlefield 2042 messed up the most. It felt like this weird attempt at a hero shooter meets Call of Duty, and the classes didn't really seem to matter that much. BF6 has attempted to fix this. Classes actually matter again. There's two types of modes within the game. They have open weapons mode, where any class can use any of the weapons. However, certain weapons get handling bonuses based off of the class you are. So, for example, if you are Recon, you will be able to handle sniper rifles better than, say, Assault or Engineer. The other mode is the closed weapons mode, where only certain classes can use their specific style of weapon. Regardless of which mode, I definitely think that both work. I would say that I'm more partial to the closed weapons mode, given that I like Battlefield 3 the most in terms of older Battlefields that I've played. But regardless of which mode it is, I do feel as though classes actually matter again within Battlefield 6. I don't know if it quite reaches the level of Battlefield 3 because of the way in which they have designed classes in this game, specifically the support class. If you remember back to Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4, the Assault was the healer, whereas support only did ammo. In this one, support does both healing and ammo, and this is something that I think works. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I think I would need to play the game more and really see how I feel about it long term. Regardless though, the classes absolutely do matter here in Battlefield 6, and there's something really special about all of the classes coming together and really playing their role. When you're either laying down suppressive fire, defending something, or assaulting an objective, where the Recon class can set up monitoring, support can lay down that suppressive fire, health, and ammo, while the assault can rush the objective while engineers take down vehicles or repair friendly vehicles. This really creates those only in Battlefield moments that Battlefield 6 seems to be absolutely nailing here in this beta period. Speaking of the engineer, healing vehicles and or taking them out, the vehicles in this game are pretty awesome. Now, I must say, I have not spent a whole lot of time in vehicles because unfortunately I am not 14 anymore, and my ability to pilot them has been severely limited. I will say though, I think that the default controls that the vehicles are very different from Battlefield 3, which is what I remember. And so I think you can change these in the options menu, but I did not get around to doing that. Regardless, I was a tank gunner, and that was very fun, especially when you have a good pilot that knows how to support the infantry with the vehicles. If you are doing this, this can absolutely be devastating to enemy defenses. I did not get a chance to fly any vehicles. I do remember back in Battlefield 3, I did figure out how to pilot helicopters pretty well, but if I had attempted to do that here in the Battlefield 6 beta, it probably would have resulted in me crashing into something immediately. So hopefully once the game comes out in its full release, I'll have some time to play around with piloting air vehicles. And now all of this infantry combat and vehicle combat is happening on maps. Now, I've seen a lot of complaints about the map sizes in the beta online, and I'm going to be honest, this didn't bother me too much, but this is probably because the last military shooter that I've played quite a lot was the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 reboot, and that obviously has much smaller maps than this, probably too small in some cases. Thinking of you, Shipment. That being said, small tight maps do have a good history within Battlefield. As mentioned at the intro of this video, Operation Metro was the beta map for Battlefield 3 all of those years ago, and it has become an absolute classic amongst fans. So having some smaller maps that can really highlight the infantry combat in the beta, I really think makes a lot of sense from DICE's perspective. If they're trying to siphon players away from things like Call of Duty and other games, I think having a lot of that intense action in the beta weekend really makes sense. But they also did have maps that did mix in the vehicles like tanks and helicopters. And so I think that showing that there's more to the game than just the infantry combat, they're absolutely doing that, but maybe focusing on some of that infantry combat, I think, is a smart move from DICE. Now, of course, once the game actually comes out, we are going to want to see more of those bigger vehicle-based maps, and I think DICE will deliver on that, if not in the initial release, in map packs or battle passes, however they decide to monetize the game after it comes out. Lastly, I wanted to make a few comments on performance. I was able to play the beta on both the Xbox Series X and a base PlayStation 5. The PlayStation 5 ran notably better and also looks nicer. I also think that the PS5 controller is probably the greatest controller for shooters due to the haptic feedback. The haptic feedback is not quite as good as the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 reboot, which has amazing haptic feedback on all of the triggers, if you didn't know, but it still feels great here in Battlefield 6 to have the different trigger pull feelings and the other vibrations that really immerse you in what's going on in the game world. And all of the footage for this video, I must say, was taken on the Xbox, since my capture card does not work with my PS5. Now this distinction, oh, what console should I get it on? This probably only applies to a few different people, but if you are trying to decide which console to go with, you'd probably be better off getting the PS5 version, because it gives those better graphics and performance. So what does all of this mean? Should I pre-order the game immediately? No, you should not. Do not pre-order it. When Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 Reboot came out, it was an absolute blast, and it really captured that incredible military sim vibe. And I still actually enjoy that game a lot to this day, which is apparently an unpopular opinion on the internet. Unfortunately, the critics of that game are absolutely right that it became mired in Halloween costumes and weird celebrity cameos that really takes away from what I think is a great game. Battlefield 6 could turn out the same way. After all, in the preview launch event, there was that text in the bottom of the trailer saying, "There will be in-game purchases after the final release." So this game could come out and go downhill. It could launch and be an absolute mess. We can't be sure. However, we can tell that this beta is absolutely cooking, and if they can do what they've done in this beta, maybe Battlefield 6 is the game that we've all been waiting for since 2011. And so with that in mind, wait for the release, wait for some YouTube videos, wait for some reviews, see how it plays, and then, hopefully, we can all go out and pick it up and start having those Battlefield moments like we've been waiting for since 2011. Thank you all for watching. I have some other videos planned, archery related, Halo related, gun related, so stay tuned if you're interested in any of those things. I'll see you soon.